Hey everyone. So we've got like about 8 people here. We're gonna give it about 5 or so minutes, let a couple more come in, and then we'll get started about 2:05-ish. Hey everyone that just joined. We are waiting until about 2:05. We're gonna let a few more people roll in before we get started. But thanks again for everyone attending. We will be rolling this out shortly. All right, I think we can go ahead and get started. Chris, is your audio good to go on your end?
Yeah, I think so. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, good to go.
How about me?
Cool.
Can you hear me, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds like
Great, I'm excited.
we're ready to get rolling. All right, awesome. So thanks so much for everybody for attending. I see we've got about 30 attendees. We're really excited to share some of these insights with you. We hope everything is well on your end. And Chris, I'll let you go ahead and kind of kick it off.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Matt.
Mhm.
So format for today, guys, being cognizant of your time. Obviously, this is one of the strangest, most unknown business times in our lives. And so, we're cognizant of that, but we do see a lot of hope. We see a lot of strategies that are being implemented in the field. And so as a team, we just talked about how can we communicate and give you guys as much support as possible during this time. So that's really what the idea of this webinar is. We want you guys to leave with tactical, actual, usable strategies in your business today to keep cash flow coming in and to make sure that we get past this moment in time that I'm hoping is going to be pretty short. And so I'm going to ask Matt if you can just do the controlling of the screen. It's just easier. That's great. So just a little bit about who's presenting today. I'll be presenting just a little bit, going through the agenda in a second. Then I'm going to ask Lauren Mecca, our head of customer success, to jump in. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy what Lauren brings to the table because the sheer number of inbound requests from our customers has nearly quadrupled in the past 2 weeks. You can imagine how many companies are reaching out to us to figure out, do we continue? Do we pause? What's our strategy? How do we implement that strategy? And so we've created some pretty cool playbooks that Lauren's put together. So I'm going to let her cover those, and she's definitely better at it than me. So you can move to the next one, Matt. So sort of the theme here for this webinar is that we're not running away from, I think, what we're all sort of facing. I definitely am as a business owner, which is, there's homeowner uncertainty. And because of that, it's causing some ripple effects in the business. I see a lot of people taking different strategies toward this, but ultimately appointments are canceling, fewer installs, or it's becoming a little bit more difficult to do installs and get cash flow. There's less rehash in general, and it's hurting cash flow in the business. And so we have been working close with customers on how to use our technology to put together not only verbiage, but like strategies to continue to get business during this time. Everything from like virtual appointments to specific campaigns targeted at specific customers that continue the engagement, the conversation, going forward. So I wanted to start off by just laying out the agenda for this entire webinar. First thing we're going to cover are home improvement trends that we are seeing. I think we're in a unique position to be able to share this with you guys. This is going to be data that we see inside of Hatch, and because we connect through CRM securely, we're able to see everything from appointments to conversations that relate to sales to engagement, how engaged are consumers. We also have partners like Home Advisor and Modernize that have given us some interesting data on the consumer side, basically demand. Like, are people still online looking for window replacements, roofing replacements, home improvement? We've brought some of that data to the party so that you guys can make decisions on how you want to execute, either using us or whatever advertising forms that you're using out there to get in touch with customers. Second thing we'll cover is our commitment to customer success, and Lauren's going to go through that. And then she's also going to cover tactics that you can use today. You can sync with our team and do it. Some of the stuff you can do on your own, but they're actual tactics that we see working, and we've brought some case studies to the webinar today so that you can see those in action. I'm going to jump back in and cover more with Hatch, just realizing talking to 4 times the amount of customers we normally talk to in the past 2 weeks, that we have a lot of stuff in Hatch today that you may not be using that allow you to do more with less or more virtually. So we want to help there. We actually are coming up with a post-COVID-19 demand plan. I think businesses will look a little bit different in the next 4 weeks. Some of us may have furloughed staff. Some of us may have had to lay some folks off. So when the demand does come back, and I think it will, pretty quickly, just not only based on what I'm hearing in the news, but a lot of our venture capital partners and our business have sister companies in China, and because of that, they just recently saw a dramatic shift upwards in the demand of the everyday economy, right? Home improvement, home services, and it's an insane demand. And so, what is the plan once it comes back, and how can we help? We'd love to in any way that we can, and then we'll do a summary of key takeaways and links where you guys can get some of this stuff and start implementing it in your business if it makes sense. You can go to the next one, Matt. All right. So just quickly on some of the data that we're monitoring, and we're doing this so that we can quickly give you guys strategies that you can implement, even if we aren't a part of it. We feel like we're a part of your business in some way. So if we can give those to you, we're going to do it. So market trends that we're monitoring. One is, are customers engaged? Are they responding to our messaging platform, text, emails, phone calls? I've got some data on that. Two, sales are down. We are seeing that, but the ASP, or average selling price, is up, which is interesting. If you're thinking about how can we talk to some customers who may have large projects that have been putting them off, what are some of the incentives and campaigns you can put together to talk to those customers? Like, the larger deals are selling. It's interesting. How can we take advantage of that and help customers there, especially with some of the incentives for the interest rates being low and things like that. I want to show you guys some data that we found on new homeowner leads for windows, doors, home improvement projects that we got from Modernize, and then some Google stuff that we've looked at that shows where on the consumer side people are actually still looking. So move on to this next slide real quick for me. Awesome. So guys, this is a screenshot that I think is interesting. This is our data inside of Hatch. It's generic data. We don't look really per account unless we jump in there with you, but this is overall for all of our customers. The first thing is 25% in engagement rate in Hatch is up 25%. What does that mean? Right now, we've pulled back on going after the database in a broad way, and by sort of focusing in and doing a sniper approach, more people are responding, about 25% more. I think we can leverage this. Sales are down 37%. It's pretty drastic, and it's made us act drastically as a business, and I'm sure you guys as well. And by that, I mean move faster and implement things that make a difference quicker. But what we have noticed is that the average selling price per job is up 21%, which is interesting, and we'll get into that and strategies with Lauren in a second. So this is just compared to a previous week. By the way, we're monitoring this week to week, so that as we start to see the uptick, we're going to let you guys know what it looks like across our companies across the country, so that you can continue to change your campaigns and adjust accordingly. This is from Modernize. If you guys don't use Modernize, they're a partner of ours. They're a lead aggregator similar to Home Advisor, except they only deal with HVAC, roofing, siding, solar, and windows, who are a lot of our ideal customers for Hatch. Think about Modernize as a marketplace. You have the business side of the marketplace where businesses go to get leads aggregated to them, and then you have homeowners that go online and say, hey, I'm looking for a window replacement or siding replacement. Their actual leads compared to February are only down 2%. So what does that tell Modernize? Now, what's interesting about this is that the lead conversion to appointment is way down, as would be expected, but it tells us that homeowners are at home still interested in getting their projects done. In fact, I know it's anecdotal, but if it's anything like my household, things are being pointed out to me that need to be worked on that I've put off for a while. So the data showing this. I want to show you guys some Google trends as well that kind of back this up. So this is for the search term home improvement. People are on there looking. You can see this is a 90-day trend, pretty flat. So it's not like people have stopped looking for this stuff. Go to the next one. It's pretty flat. Home repairs, a little trickle down there, but not that bad. Pretty flat. Home DIY projects. Look at this. Yep. Husband's getting yelled at. Got to get this done. DIY projects are up. Google search trend for window replacements it's down a little bit, but it's pretty flat. There's no dramatic drop off. So people are still looking for window replacements. They aren't converting quite yet. We'll talk about strategies to do that in a minute and how you can let people know that you're an essential business that's still open during this time. But look at roof repairs too. Pretty consistent. It hasn't been this drastic drop off like if you were a restaurant. So I think there's hope out there and there's strategies by using data that we can be smart. It looks like right now what's happening is that larger projects are still being done. You need to engage them faster with the appropriate message and the appropriate language, and we want to help you, do that. You can move on to the next one. Cool. So I want to introduce Lauren Mecca. I don't know if everybody on the webinar before has met her, but she's our head of customer success, and she is obsessed with making your businesses successful, adjusting language and campaigns, and she's actually leading up the whole team and has been probably closer to our customers than anyone else in our business and is hearing things every day. So Lauren, I want to pass the mic to you.
Thank you, Chris. And hi, everybody. If we haven't met yet, I hope we do soon. Matt, you can go to the first slide. Thank you. So very quickly, probably the end of 2 weeks ago, we realized that our day-to-day would become very different. We're becoming much more consultative, much more curious with our customers. And that means that every day we're learning more and more how people are managing their businesses through this time, not just their hatch boards, not just their campaigns, not just their customer engagement, but their businesses. So ask us anything. We'll probably have some insight or can find someone who can help. A couple of things we're doing proactively. We have pivoted all nurture strategies to one particular approach, which I'll get to in a couple of minutes. We've also repositioned Rehash to emphasize virtual capabilities, and that lets you keep these sales conversations going, maintain trust, stay top of mind through this period of time. Because like Chris said, we are seeing projects move forward. We are seeing deals still close, certainly at a reduced rate, but there's no reason to shut everything down and go dark just because of this uncertainty. Another thing we're doing is we're constantly monitoring campaign strategies and their performance. So don't be surprised if a week from now we're suggesting new things. As states change their regulations or as we settle into a new reality, we're going to share all of our learnings with you. One by one, give us a call, email support, and also in forums like this. So this is not the last time you'll hear from us. And the final thing that we're doing, I've already kind of touched on, it's the things outside of Hatch that we're finding help the most right now. That is arming your team with the right free tools that can allow them to do their jobs remotely. Even e-signature products, we're getting trained up on and recommending the best ones. There's all kinds of details that we now are forced to pay attention to in home improvement, and lean on us as a resource. All right, next slide, Matt. Now I'll get into specifics on what we're finding you can do in Hatch. We came across this ad from, this isn't even a Hatch customer, it's just one that struck us as really smart right now. This is from a home services business in a state that is pretty much shut down. Now, one point I'll make is pay close attention to both your state's regulations and how they're defining essential work. There are some nuances in there that will impact how you word your campaigns, for example. So this is a business that is deemed essential in their state. My favorite point that they're making here is we're open. That's, that green light is on. So stay engaged, expect the same, and they'll let you know if any changes need to be made. And then finally, they are saying at the end, don't wait until the summer rush. We should all plan for a demand spike, and it might not even be as long as summer. There are brighter days ahead, and as soon as things start to open back up, there will be a flood of customers who you'll want to be sure you stayed in touch with and are positioned to continue engaging with. So we thought this was a really good message. It can kind of help with cash flow. It can help with proactively answering questions customers might have. So we'll share the slides after this, and you'll have this to use as a sample. Now, how we're refocusing your messaging right now depends on the tactic. So there are 3 or 4 specific campaigns that we're suggesting for our customers. I'll dive deep into 2 of them and show you examples of actual consumer conversations that are going well using these strategies. Some of our customers are saying, yes, green light, go, just put these in place. You know, I don't have time to think any further about it. Great. Others have more market specific or have different strategies in mind that they do want to customize. So we're available to help you execute on both. Now, here are the 4 general plays that we're suggesting right now. Keep your rehash cancel conversations going. The worst thing that you can do is go dark right now. Now on rehash demo no sale, there's a little bit of a different tactic because you don't know their objection yet. You don't know why they haven't closed yet. So that's more of a kind of a line of questioning to try and understand where the customer is, how you can help them through this time. Revisiting past customers is a great approach right now, particularly with incentives to get them to book their next project. And future installs, these are your active customers. Some of them might have scheduled install dates, some of them might be in that blackout period. There are really important ways that you can keep in touch with them using Hatch automation. So I'm going to dive into rehash cancels and future installs because those are where we're seeing kind of the most variety and the most impact. So next slide. Here's an example of how a campaign from Hatch plays out. We are heavily emphasizing text right now. I think all of us are getting a lot of emails. So leverage Hatch's SMS capabilities. This is where we always see the highest response rate, and that is particularly true right now. So Hatch will automatically reach out with this messaging for your canceled appointments. Just a side note, we are seeing an increase in appointment cancellations. So this is something to get in place now so that over the next few weeks you have automation to keep these conversations going. You'll notice that our first and most important message is about virtual appointments. And we are doing that by having the messaging come from the owner of the business. I think it's really important to show that all hands are on deck to figure out the safest practices right now. We then say that. We say that the safety of our customers and employees is the primary goal. And then we introduce virtual appointments. Now, this is where our customer success team is working hand in hand with our customers on actually executing virtual appointments. There are many ways to do them, and there are many free ways to do them. So reach out to our support team if you'd like more tips there. But right now, I'm just going to focus on your messaging in Hatch, and we're happy to share this verbiage with you. We're happy to get it into place in your boards if this is what you want to go with. Next. Here's an example of a tool that we're suggesting to do these virtual appointments. And you'll see here's a response from a customer to a text saying, yes, I would like to go virtual, please. All you have to do is reply in your Hatch board with your customized Whereby link. And Whereby is a tool where within 5 minutes, you have a free virtual meeting room with a customized URL that's so easy you can memorize it and send it out when conversations like this come up. When you send it to your customers, either on their computer or in their phones, they can click the link and your meeting starts. So here's an example of how you could start to put a quote together based on what the customer is showing you in their home through this Whereby video link. Now, the second strategy that I'm going to spend some time on today is with your active customers with future install dates. Here's one approach. So I'll tell you that every company has, knows their customer base better than we do. So this is probably strategy where we're seeing the most variety across our customers. We're really letting you guys take the lead on what messages you want to send to whom. We just believe it's very important that you send something out to these people right now. Here was an interesting approach where Darren, who is the Hatch user, had scheduled a message to closed won customers with a future install date. And you'll see it says, in light of current events, we have pre-ordered due to possible delivery disruption and to ensure our employees' schedules. We are offering a temporary additional discount to customers who are able to have their project installed prior to April 20th. Would this be of interest to you? Now, of course, many consumers will reply, just like you see Jenny did here. Great idea, but I have to save the cash. So here's where it's important to make sure you understand where your customers are right now. Is it a safety concern? Is it a financial, economic concern? Or maybe they're business as usual. In many states, you can still operate and install normally. You can even meet face-to-face in many states still. So Darren replied with more details that would help this specific customer's objection. And this is where the conversation became one-on-one in their Hatch board. He could do this from his phone even, so it's very easy. And you'll see the customer change their tune and said, can we talk by phone tomorrow? This customer actually did close and made a purchase yesterday. So here's an example that we want to share of the type of opportunities and strategies that will help you book projects right now. There's one more example. Oh, it's not in there. Oh yeah, here it is. It's the next slide. One more slide. All right, here's another great example where Hatch's campaign was set up to automatically reach out to people who had a demo. They have a quote in hand, they haven't closed yet. The response was really informative. Someone said, we just are worried, we're fearful. You'll get a lot of that. And this is another reason why the worst thing you can do is go dark. You know, you want to give your customers the opportunity to air things like this. And you'll see that the Hatch user just replied with empathy. And if that's all you can do right now, that is totally fine. You know, take this as a time to build trust and awareness with your customer base. Not everybody's going to be able to drive to a sale right now. So those were all the details I wanted to share. Please reach out to us at support@hatchify.co, and we'll be happy to implement these for each and every one of you. Oh, here was my last little table. Go back one, sorry. If you take any screenshots of these slides today, I think this will be a helpful one. If your goal right now is to secure cash flow, I'm sure every one of us is thinking of that. There's 3 strategies you can implement immediately. If your goal instead, or in addition, is to build trust for that spike in demand, then there are 2 specific things you can do. So once again, reach out to us and we'll be happy to get this in place.
Love it. Can you guys hear me? Great.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Lauren. That was awesome. I want to follow it up before we get into the stuff you can do more with Hatch, just about our virtual toolkit. We have we've partnered with some pretty amazing companies, Jobber, Hover, like home improvement companies. We're all like banding together. It's pretty inspirational to help continue to keep this industry going, to keep the cash flow coming in, to keep your business healthy, so that we don't have to, you know, look at layoffs or anything like that. And so we have a complete toolkit on how you can get a bunch of different free stuff to start using and putting your folks to work at home to continue these conversations. And there's this really cool toolkit. I don't think we put it in this presentation, but I'm gonna send it afterwards, where basically you can do quotes virtually, you can do 3D imaging of the home virtually, you can do messaging virtually with us, and financing virtually. So there is solutions for this. And what I love is that this industry is becoming, I mean, it's like forcing it a little bit to futurize. And I think we're going to see some pretty good results that you guys can then take in the future of your business, and, you know, even when this moment in time passes. So well, I'm going to jump into the rest of this. I think we got like 10 more minutes left, and then then we'll wrap it up. And I've already gotten 2 or 3 texts while on this about, will this be available? Absolutely. When this is done, we'll send the recording and the deck itself to everybody who attended. So let's talk about do more with Hatch. So talking to our customers, realize that at this time, a lot of things are happening. One of those things are either layoffs or furloughs. I don't think it's long term, but we understand that in the short term, some people are saying, hey, listen, we can't pay certain people in the business, but you still need things done. And one of the ways that we've been able to help over the past week and a half is with our product called Hatch Chat, which essentially are chat bots that you can put on your website to book appointments, and you don't even have to touch it. So I want to show you guys how that works. Right now, some of you guys might be using this on your website, but it's not hooked up directly to a campaign that can book virtual appointments for you. But we want to offer it to you, and part of what we're doing during the COVID crisis is we're giving this to all of our customers for free. Setup is for free. We just want to help you guys. So here's the data on it and what the business outcome is. Obviously, anybody who goes to your website during this time, you want to convert more. The facts are is that text messaging via your website will actually convert 47% higher than traditional web chat. And this is the flow of how it can work. First step is you put a snippet on your website. It takes less than 10 seconds. A little bubble pops up at the bottom. It says, let's chat. They click that very quickly from their phone. It will automatically text your organization, and it will drop that customer directly into a campaign. Now, why is that important? That works like a bot, where the first question we can ask that customer is, thanks for reaching out. I'd love to chat about your project. You can book a time here, use your Whereby link, or text me back if you'd like to chat. That message will go out automatically to all new leads that visit your website. No human needed, instant response, real time. And we saw 2 weeks ago, I think over the last 2 weeks, we saw one customer with 47 inbounds using this. So we haven't yet seen if those have converted into sales, but this is pipeline building activity, new generating customers that you're going to get either now or as soon as this thing turns. For customers that come in and don't sign up automatically for an appointment, maybe you don't have that capability, or maybe they just want to chat, it'll show up directly in your inbound column. So this is an image of that, and it will literally say, hey, I'm interested in replacing my windows, or I'm interested in new siding or roofing. And so this is a way, and whoever's working from home during this time, they can do it directly on their computer or directly on their phone. This is an easy way to start converting more website visitors, and you can change the verbiage to make it appropriate for what's happening right now. So that bot can immediately say, hey, we're doing virtual appointments right now. And that's how you're going to continue to drive business. So I think this is a new way to use Hatch that some folks aren't, that we could help you with today. Can you go to the next one, Matt? Cool, something in the same vein here. This is called instant lead engagement. This is about new business. I want to talk to you guys about this and how it works. So here are the facts. You're 7 times more likely to set an appointment right now if you respond to a new lead in the first hour, rather than wait until the second hour. So we have a product inside of Hatch right now that can do that for you instantly, using the same theme as a bot, but make it very personalized from the owner, from the sales manager, directly from a rep. This is how it works. Any form that you may have out there, modernized home advisor website form, can automatically drop into a campaign that will set the appointment on your behalf with as many touches as you think are appropriate, or you can follow the playbook. We see this increase the amount of leads, sometimes by 50% when the economy's healthy, but right now we're seeing a 15% increase in the amount of leads booked by using this instant lead engagement technology. Makes a lot of sense. They can do it all over their text message. Go to the next one for me. Some of the language that we're seeing used right now is they go to your website, they click on that, it automatically opens up their text app, they send a message, the campaign starts, the customer gets this message, which makes a lot of sense, right? This is Chris with ABC Windows. Our reps are healthy and happy to do an appointment at home, but we're also offering virtual appointments during this time just to be safe. Which ones do you prefer? This slight change in language continues to keep the pipeline full and allows people to explore. Those same people on Google that are searching are going to be the same people that are going to land on your website, and you need to be able to convert them and be agile with the verbiage that you're using. So this is instant lead engagement. We've seen this work really, really well right now. And use your Whereby link, your Zoom link, your GoToWebinar link, whichever technology you choose to use, so that you can help get a quote to people that are still looking for it. Move to the next one, Matt. Last thing, pipeline management. Notice we have a lot of owners and general managers, sales managers on the call today. I want to show you guys an opportunity about pipeline management from customers that responded to your Hatch board perhaps a month ago or 2 months ago that said, I'll be interested in the spring. When we did a deep dive in our data, the word spring showed up almost 50% of the time for leads that were contacted in the winter. It's a lot of opportunity. So our recommendation is, and this is something you can get folks to do at home right now, is to jump in this working column that everybody has on their board and find all the people, go up to the search bar and type in the word spring, find all the people that have the word spring in it and schedule a message to go out May 1st with an incentive to do business, or April 1st with an incentive to do business. And this is how it works. Simply open up the customer card. You can do it on your phone, you can do it on your PC, and you can hit the send later button right over here where you see the clock, and you can schedule a message to go out. Now, what we recommend and see working really well is to be strategic with the message. You may offer a significant discount at this time to pull business in. You may want to offer free installation. I don't know what that quite looks like. I think every business can be a little bit different, but schedule a message for all of those pipeline folks that said contact me in the spring, or I might be interested later. With the federal interest rate cuts, with the amount of opportunity that's out there, with what the government's going to do to stimulate the economy, I think it's completely appropriate to say, hey, in 15 days, schedule a message to 50 customers that incentivizes them to, continue with their project and work with you guys. So this is a pipeline management hack, and we see it working. Last one is go mobile. So what I've also realized in the past 2 weeks, Lauren brought to my attention, is that we don't have a lot of folks, multiple users using our mobile version, and this just gives opportunity to put folks that might be at home to work. And so this is available for everybody. It allows you to text, email, and call directly from Hatch. What's interesting about this, and my sales manager brought it to me, is he said, look, remote working is about accountability. What are folks doing at home? What's the effort that they're putting in at home? And you can track all that using Hatch. And so when he said remote accountability and visibility, I said, I know a lot of my guys will love this because that makes a lot of sense. You can also share conversation with others, and I'll show you guys that in a minute. But we're seeing this work really well. We launched this a few weeks back with a couple of our favorite partners, and since then it's sort of spread like wildfire. It's enabling people to get in right on their phone and have these messages, but then giving you guys oversight into what these messages are resulting in terms of business. Okay, cool. So as we wrap this up, just want to show you guys just briefly, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because we're not quite here yet, but we are thinking about post-COVID-19 demand and what that looks like. Can you jump to the next slide real quick? I'm just going to briefly go over this. How are we thinking about projects that people are putting on the back burner today, but we know in 60 days are going to be hot and heavy? How are you thinking about those? We talked about the working column, but we're thinking about that, because typically most businesses are going to be trying to do more with less. You may have less staff at that time. How are you going to handle that? I think automation can help. It's going to bring those jobs back to the surface so you can close that business. There's going to be record low interest rates and financing. I was on a webinar the other day with Home Advisor, Modernize, and a couple of leaders in the industry about how to leverage this right now and communicate with that with your customers and potential customers so you can close more deals. And then more time in the house we're seeing is going to mean more people considering projects. So just quickly, sort of tactical stuff that we're thinking around this. Move to the next one. Yep. Rehash canceled appointments. Obviously, with our integration with you guys, I mean, we're keeping track of all this, and there will be buckets of these customers. We're already putting together verbiage for when all the lifts are announced, where messages can come directly from owners or sales managers that says, hey, we're back up and going. It may not be normal yet, but we are running appointments and special promotions. So we're putting together language now to prepare for the next phase of this, which inevitably is going to come. So we got your 6, 2 or 3 weeks from now when we need to switch. What I would recommend is getting with Lauren and her team, if you're already thinking about specific promotions, to make sure you get business to spike up in the next 30, 45 days. Keep going past this one, Matt. Okay, this is another one I think is interesting, which is the idea that you may be doing more with less. I've talked to a couple of our partners who said, hey, listen, we're downsizing the call center. We're trying to do more with less. We used to have 15 people, now we have 5. I've heard of people that some sales reps, the lower half of the performers may be laid off. So that means you're going to be doing more with less. We can help there. We introduced conversation routing, which is essentially if a customer says they're interested, a sales manager can route that particular reps or back and forth. That exists today, and it allows you to do more with less. So it's the idea of automating messaging and conversation routing. I'm not going to get too in the weeds here, but this is a huge opportunity that we've seen people to be able to do more with less resources as we start to ramp up post COVID-19. So real quick before we end, just some key takeaways. One is I think there's hope. New homeowner leads are only down 2% compared to February. And I know March is normally a much larger spike, but it's not as bad as it may be painted in the media saying. And while it is impacting our cash flow today, the demand is still happening. 2, homeowners are engaged. They're responding to text messages. The messaging needs to be appropriate, and you need to move fast on how you operate the business because they will engage with you. I think most of them at the price point and the stuff that you sell are at home, probably bored. So get in front of them, start a conversation, engage differently, do it over your phone, use virtual appointment technology, and make sure you're building the pipeline. Virtual appointments are critical. We've got a whole playbook on how to do that, all the way down to getting contracts signed virtually. Use campaign language that works, and obviously do more with less. Any way that we can help you, and that's what technology's for. That's why we're collecting all this data, because we want to help you guys do more with less. So those are really some of the key takeaways, and we'll send out this deck afterwards so you guys can take that verbiage and on your own sort of tweak it and let our team know. So before I let you guys go, this is sort of an offer for us. This is not, I told the team, this is not a time to sell. This is a time to support during this unprecedented catastrophe, basically. We want to offer you guys a bunch of stuff. This is free on us. What does that mean? We want to offer free workspaces. That's the ability for your at-home workers or people that are working remotely to have their own ability to do automated campaigns, to pass customers, rehash new leads. Free Hatch Chat, we talked about it. A lot of folks aren't using it. It's the ability to set appointments on your website with nobody touching it. It's brilliant, especially when people searching at night, 11 o'clock at night. Have those things automatically set for you. And then free instant lead engagement. This is about getting new leads. We understand filling the top of the funnel is so important right now. If you are still paying for leads or anything out there getting leads, instantly engaging them is going to be the way that you bring them in the door, and offer those virtual appointments right now. Recognize what's happening, call it out, and adjust appropriately. So that's what we want to offer you guys. Matt, do we have one more slide, or is that pretty much it? Yep. If you guys want to take advantage of any of this stuff, support@hatchify.co. Send an email in, and this is pretty much wraps up the webinar. I really hope there's some value in here for everybody, and you can use some of these strategies. We do see them working. If anybody else has any questions after this, let us know directly, and we'll be glad to jump on a call with everybody and help you execute those plans. All right. Thanks, everybody, for your time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.